All right, let's now bring in Craig Snyder, President and CEO of the World Council Affairs of Philadelphia. Thanks for being with us, Craig. And U.S. taxpayers have been paying for the Palestinian Authority to reward terrorism. Now, the idea behind this Taylor Force Act was to reduce aid to the Palestinians in proportion to the amount that the Palestinian Authority pays to terrorists to end the pay-for-slay program. Do you think that what the House passed today will accomplish that?
Well, I think it's an important symbolic measure. I was a young congressional staffer when we passed the Specter-Shelby Amendment, which was very similar. It was designed to cut off aid to the PLO at that time, unless the PLO amended its charter to eliminate calls for the destruction of Israel. And that happened. I'm not saying it was 100% because of that piece of legislation, but it was useful in pushing the process forward in that way. This is a more complicated situation. The Palestinian Authority and its affiliates are deeply invested in this, what they call support for the families of martyrs, and obviously what the Israelis call pay for slay. So it may not be a panacea to the problem, but I think it can be an important symbolic gesture by the American government to influence Palestinian policy.
Well, let's look at this from the Palestinian perspective. The Palestinian Authority calls it martyrdom payments. Money is paid to the terrorists if they're still alive, or his family if he is dead. And in a culture where suicide bombers are heroes, you could say that this further incentivizes them. Now, Mahmoud Abbas says that the martyrdom payments are a social responsibility to look after the people affected after their loved ones have been killed. Well, what do you make of his argument?
I don't think his argument has any moral legitimacy. This isn't about social responsibility. It's about an overall policy. It's manifested other ways in Palestinian schools and so on, Palestinian monuments and statues, to really lionize those who commit acts of violence against Israel. And I don't think there's really any other way to cut it. I was recently in the Palestinian territories, and I heard people comparing these payments to the fact that Israel gives salaries to its soldiers. That's a totally false moral equivalency, and I think this act is designed to put America on a particular side of that issue.
But you did say that it's symbolic, and there's concern now that this legislation has been diluted and compromised, and it's created loopholes. For example, there's a one-year delay before the provisions of the bill go into effect, and now there's concern that this could possibly give the PA a year in which to come up with some kind of a new arrangement where the payments are given to terrorists from some other private group instead of the PA itself. What do you think about that? Is that a concern of yours?
Well, there have been compromises made, as is the nature of almost any legislative process. But I think that even in the current form, which is diluted from the original form, but even in the current form, it sends a very powerful message to the Palestinian Authority, and particularly combined with what we understand, your last story, what we understand President Trump's announcement will be with respect to Jerusalem. It's really changing U.S. position in the area.
And what do you make of the timing? Is it a coincidence that the House moves on this a day before President Trump is poised to declare that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel?
You know, I do think it's a coincidence. It would be nice to think that there was a great deal of policy coordination on the two ends of Pennsylvania Avenue, but I don't think we've seen such great coordination. I think more than likely, I mean, this bill has been going through the process and advancing in steps. I think it is actually a coincidence.
All right. Craig Snyder, President and CEO of the World Affairs Council of Philadelphia. Thank you.
Thank you.